The sequence starts in the Kherson region. Artillerymen of the Dnipro group of forces employed Giatsint-S self-propelled artillery systems to deliver precision fire against enemy assets on the right bank of the Dnipro River. The strikes destroyed a D-30 towed artillery gun along with fortified positions occupied by armed forces of Ukraine troops' positions. The bombardment neutralized entrenched troops and dismantled defensive structures, reducing the adversary's ability to conduct fire missions and hold ground along the riverbank. In the Seversk direction, artillery crews of the Yuzhnaya group of forces employed a 203mm Pion self-propelled gun to deliver a precision strike against concealed enemy assets. The bombardment uncovered and destroyed a camouflaged artillery piece along with its supporting positions. The powerful impact neutralized enemy positions and dismantled defensive structures, reducing the adversary's ability to conduct fire missions in the sector. In the Dnipropetrovsk direction, artillery crews of the center group of forces employed D-30 howitzers to deliver precision fire against fortified enemy positions. The strikes destroyed a stronghold occupied by armed forces of Ukraine troops, neutralizing manpower and dismantling defensive structures. By suppressing these positions, Russian units reduced the adversary's ability to conduct fire missions and hold ground in the sector. In the Krynychne, Lyman, and Sumy directions, Rubikon UAV operators carried out precision strikes against multiple enemy assets. The attacks destroyed motor vehicles and armored vehicles, eliminated dugouts and temporary deployment areas, and dismantled elements of the communication system. Also, electronic warfare equipment of the armed forces of Ukraine was suppressed. These strikes disrupted enemy logistics, weakened their defensive infrastructure, and reduced their ability to coordinate operations. In the Zaporizhzhia region, air defense units of the 58th Army, part of the Dnipro group of forces, successfully intercepted and destroyed another enemy drone during ongoing combat operations. The burst fire from anti-aircraft systems neutralized the UAV before it could reach its intended target, preventing potential strikes against frontline positions and infrastructure. In Zaporizhzhia Oblast, units of the Vostok group of forces, supported by the 218th Tank Regiment of the 127th Motorized Rifle Division, 5th Army, decisively took control of Krynychne. Guardsmen seized a defensive area spanning up to 3 square kilometers, dismantling enemy fortifications and securing key terrain. The operation inflicted heavy losses on the 225th Separate Assault Regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, eliminating over a platoon of troops. In addition, 2 armored combat vehicles, 2 UAV command posts, and 5 Baba Yaga hexacopter drones were destroyed. By neutralizing both manpower and advanced aerial systems, Russian forces disrupted enemy logistics and command capabilities, ensuring tactical dominance in the sector. Again, Rubikon UAV teams carried out precision strikes against a wide range of enemy assets. The operations destroyed motor and armored vehicles, eliminated dugouts and temporary deployment areas, and neutralized armed forces of Ukraine personnel. In addition, elements of the communication system and electronic warfare equipment were dismantled, while material storage areas were struck to disrupt logistics. Several enemy UAVs, including ground-based robotic systems, were also eliminated. These actions highlight the versatility of Rubikon specialists in targeting both manpower and advanced technology, significantly weakening the adversary's combat potential and operational coordination. In Kazachia Lopan, Kharkiv region, FAB aerial bombs were employed against the temporary deployment site of the 58th Separate Motorized Infantry Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The precision strikes destroyed concentrations of enemy positions and damaged infrastructure within the deployment area. The published footage highlights the destructive capability of aerial bombs in suppressing enemy formations and demonstrates the effectiveness of air power in shaping the tactical situation along the front line. During aerial reconnaissance in the settlement of Veterinarn, Russian forces identified a temporary deployment point belonging to the 22nd Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Several high-explosive aerial bombs were promptly released, striking the building with pinpoint accuracy. The precision of the strike ensured maximum damage to the deployment site while minimizing collateral impact. Russian aviation successfully disrupted the brigade's ability to regroup and coordinate operations in the sector. The operation underscores the strategic value of aerial reconnaissance combined with precision bombing in neutralizing high-value targets. In the Kharkiv region, Fab 500 aerial bombs were employed to target temporary deployment points of the armed forces of Ukraine. The strikes hit the 159th Separate Mechanized Brigade in Okremovka and the 22nd Separate Mechanized Brigade in Veterinarn. The bombardments destroyed personnel concentrations and disrupted defensive arrangements, neutralizing manpower and damaging infrastructure. By eliminating these deployment areas, Russian forces reduced the adversary's ability to regroup and sustain operations in the sector. In Huryev-Kozachok, Kharkiv region, assault groups of the 245th Regiment targeted and destroyed an enemy observation post equipped with an anti-tank guided missile system. Drones operated by Russian troops flew directly into the fortified shelter, striking it repeatedly and tearing it apart piece by piece. The precision UAV attacks neutralized the enemy inside and eliminated the ATGM threat, reducing the adversary's ability to monitor movements and launch anti-armor strikes. In the Kharkiv region near Berezhne, Russian forces employed a Lancet loitering munition to target and destroy a Ukrainian fuel tanker. The precision strike eliminated the vehicle along with its cargo, disrupting the adversary's supply chain and reducing their ability to sustain frontline operations. The destruction of the fuel tanker not only deprived the armed forces of Ukraine of critical resources, but also weakened their logistical resilience in the sector. In the settlement of Kolodezhny, Kharkiv region, Fab 500 aerial bombs were employed to target the temporary deployment site of the 159th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The precision strikes destroyed concentrations of troops and damaged infrastructure within the deployment area. The bombardment disrupted the brigade's ability to regroup and sustain operations, weakening its combat potential in the area. In the areas of Krasnoarmysk, Mirnograd, and across Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, units of the Center Group of Forces actively repelled enemy counterattacks. Combat footage from February 17th shows the destruction of the armed forces of Ukraine militants, artillery, vehicles, fortified positions, and heavy bomber drones. Among the equipment eliminated were pickups, Humvees, HPKs, self-propelled artillery system, and the Baba Yaga UAV. The strikes dismantled both mobility assets and advanced aerial platforms, reducing the adversary's ability to maneuver, coordinate, and launch drone attacks. This operation highlights the adaptability of Russian forces in targeting diverse threats, from light vehicles to complex UAV systems, to ensure tactical dominance across multiple fronts. Last, on the Sumy axis, paratroopers of the 137th Ryazan Regiment of the Airborne Forces are actively pursuing enemy infantry, military equipment, and heavy bomber drones of the armed forces of Ukraine. Operating with mobility and precision, the airborne units track down targets and eliminate them, clearing the way for assault groups pressing forward. Their actions not only dismantle enemy defenses, but also exert psychological pressure, forcing the armed forces of Ukraine units to retreat under constant threat of sudden strikes. That's all for today's update. Thanks for watching, and don't miss our upcoming videos.